In September 1948, the American Locomotive Company of Schenectady, New York, completed a 1,000 horsepower diesel-electric switching locomotive for the fabled Lehigh and New England Railroad, number 611. Today, 75 years later, 611 is the last surviving, fully intact diesel locomotive from the Lehigh and New England. The Railroad and Industrial Preservation Society is working to restore this historic artifact from the heyday of 20th century American industrial might. And we invite you to join us in the mission to return this legend to operating condition. The Lehigh and New England Railroad, known by the initials LNE, traces its origins back to Andrew Carnegie and J. Edgar Thompson, who invested in the dream of an all-rail connection from Harrisburg to Boston. Only portions of the line were completed, and in 1904, one of America's oldest industrial concerns, the Lehigh Coal and Navigation Company, gained control of the middle of the route, extending it to a line running from the anthracite coal fields near Tamaqua, Pennsylvania, through the rich cement and slate belts north of Allentown, across rural, agricultural northwestern New Jersey, to the massive freight yard at Maybrook, New York, where connections were made to New England. The LNE was a conveyor belt of Pennsylvania's mineral riches that powered American industry. By 1948, the LNE was transitioning from steam to diesel locomotives. Number 611, an S2 class switching locomotive, was built new for the LNE and spent most of its early years working the Penn Argyl, Pennsylvania rail yard. That service came to an end on Halloween 1961, when the entire LNE was shut down. Number 611, repainted in all white, was put into service scrapping the railroad. The locomotive was sold and relocated to Dearborn, Michigan, working for the Ford Motor Company's River Rouge steel mill. After a long service at the Rouge as Ford number 10,013, 611 bounced through several owners before ending up out of service at a grain mill in Emporia, Indiana, from which the Lehigh and New England Historical Society saved the locomotive and returned it to Pennsylvania for restoration in 2016. 5 years later, on October 31st, 2021, 60 years to the date of the LNE's abandonment, the Railroad and Industrial Preservation Society acquired 611 and a trove of spare parts to continue the restoration effort. Today, number 611 is located on the Allentown and Auburn Railroad, which operates a scenic tourist and freight line between Topton and Kutztown, Pennsylvania. The locomotive looks rough on the outside, but mechanically, there is a lot to work with. Main tasks include restoring the motor, known as the prime mover, full rebuild or replacement of the generator, electrical system rehabilitation, and, for the first time in its existence, equipping the locomotive with roller bearings to bring it up to current railroad standards. Once all the dirty work is done, 611 will be returned to operation in its original appearance, wearing the Lehigh and New England colors of black and white, representing the coal, slate, and cement products it was built to haul. Bringing 611 back to the same condition as when it rolled out of the American Locomotive Works in September 1948 will require approximately $150,000, along with many hours of volunteer work. The principles of the Railroad and Industrial Preservation Society come from finance, marketing, and railroading backgrounds. A growing team of volunteers brings skills needed to put the locomotive back into operation. Diesel mechanics, welders, carpenters, and other skilled volunteers are welcome to join the ranks. The completion date depends upon money and time. The faster funds are raised and the more skilled volunteers who join the restoration, the sooner 611 will be back in operation. Individuals and corporations who would like to make a financial donation will find all the details on the Railroad and Industrial Preservation Society website, riptrack.org. Those who would like to join the Volunteer Corps and corporations interested in making material donations may reach out via email to contact@riptrack.org. Having number 611 back in operation in the eastern Pennsylvania area it was built to serve will be a tribute to all who worked to bring anthracite coal, slate, and cement to market. Add in the connection to the Ford Motor Company and the Midwest agricultural heartland, and it becomes clear to see how 611 will evolve into being a monument of local, regional, and American railroading and industry. Please join us as we bring history back to life.